Stinky Popcorn Boys.
We watch movies and eat popcorn. And our stink.
Hello. We are the Stinky Popcorn Boys. Just some boys talking about movies and how they made us feel. I am Patrick Basquill, and I love to put a new sauce on a same dish that I've seen and had before. I love a new sauce.
And I'm John Gilardi, and I don't have a quirky thing, but Kate Blanchett voice acting a monkey is probably one of my favorite things from 2022.
Yeah. Hey, well, with that, also, Happy New Year. Happy New Year, us.
Happy News Year.
Happy New Year. Happy New
I think
Year.
I think the last podcast came out in the new year, but this is our first time recording one in the new year.
That's what I mean.
Yeah. So welcome, everyone. We're here to talk about William the Bull's, William of the Bull. I don't know Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio on Netflix.
William the Bull. Now, welcome to the ring, everybody. William the Bull. Sorry.
Did you know he directed the second Blade movie?
I did.
Yeah.
I love Guillermo. I love Guillermo del Toro's.
Yeah, del Toro's. Anyways, we watched the movie on Netflix, as everyone else should. I'm sure you'll come to see why, I guess, as we talk about it. I don't know. I'm assuming you liked it a lot.
I liked it a lot.
Okay. Assumption's safe. Yeah.
That's a good assumption. I love most things that Guillermo del Toro does. Then, like,
Del Toro.
well, I fell apart at the end of that sentence, so I just went into it. But yeah, I love the way he puts his stories together, and I love again, it's sort of like Fantastic Mr. Fox, where, Guillermo likes to be specific about all of his things. And so, he already sort of, creates sort of a fantasy world that fits with the stop motion sort of, cartoon aspect of it, while also keeping it grounded in, real emotions, or
Yeah.
I don't know exactly how to put it, but it's because it's not necessarily it's like a fantasy version of the real world,
Yeah. Well, it's okay, there are real rules here, or if the rules of the world feel familiar, the consequences feel familiar. It's dealing with very real stuff, like fascism, occupation, war, death.
Mm-hmm.
In a cartoon way, so it gives it that kind of grim fantasy, kind of morality tale kind of vibe that you don't have in a lot of. You have that in a lot of modern day children's stuff, but it definitely.
Yeah.
This shows and breathes it instead of tells you, I guess, if that makes sense, and that's all to say. It definitely feels like a lived in, breathed in old kind of fantasy world, but it's also. I think it's the way it's done is it makes it feel like that fantasy.
Yeah. They've all got texture.
Yeah.
They've all got texture, which is what it is to me.
Also, when you literally have stop motion, tons of texture in that.
Yeah.
Did you see the half-hour making of after?
No, I haven't.
It's
I haven't watched
it's on Netflix. It just rolled after we finished the movie. I was like, all right, okay, I'm here for it. I want to see
cool.
this. And it's really cool. It's on Netflix. You should watch it.
I'll watch it after this.
Yeah. But stop motion, it's a feast for the eyes. It's it blows my mind. This movie looks so insanely good that I thought it's clearly stop motion, but a part of me was like, I bet this is like a Spider-Verse thing where they're making it choppy on purpose, so it's just really well textured models. Because it just looks so damn good. It's and the movements are so intricate. There's so much moving camera stuff. There's it's just not. It's very dynamic. The fact that it's stop motion doesn't stop the filmmakers from telling the story cinematically. It doesn't. There's no shortcuts taken. There's no. I don't know much about stop motion, but I feel like this is the most intricate one I've seen with camera movement and stuff like that. Like they're swooping in and out shots. There's tons of like tilt and pan, like just tracking, like all sorts of crazy stuff. It's really cool.
Well, and I wonder. I guess I should watch the behind the scenes, like the making of. But it's like how much, like just the scaling of it. Like that's one of the things to me. Just the scalings of it. You know, it's like I know that I've seen things where he's had like itty bitty Pinocchios, and then also massive Pinocchios, and so it's like
a lot of that has to do with the cricket.
Yeah.
There's like the relativity of that.
Well, but it's also
that is addressed in the video for sure.
But also just like what is the scaling of these like regular day to day? Like, do they have these sets built? Do you know?
Yeah, they have them all built, and then they're on tables so that they can move a portion of it so they can get in to access it.
That's wild.
And like, it's like a giant D&D to village.
Yeah.
In it's truly all in there. It's really cool.
Do they have? I'm asking you these questions. I'll know later. Do they use regular sized cameras?
I almost want to say they're like kind of DSLR sized.
Okay.
From my memory, but you also we'll see this soon.
I'm just asking you because you're the expert now. You're the expert on it. But it is like there's like sometimes with like stop motion, there's like a perfection to it where you've got to. There's like a perfection to things. Like I just watched Geppetto like miss the bucket like the first time and then grab at it again as Carlo is like sending it up to him.
Yeah, they talk about that in the thing too. It's just, I guess that's like a lot of Guillermo's influence was just the imperfections and everything.
Yeah. Well, and that's especially
in life and like humanity, and like I guess he really encouraged the animators to kind of find that imperfection. Mm-hmm. And a lot of that little like making of documentary goes into the kind of just you gave a lot of shout out to the animators, and it's like the animators are really like they're the actors, like they're the ones that putting expression and emotion and emotion and motion into these, like they're acting, they're blocking, you know. Like it's really cool. And I think one of the things that the little documentary thing doesn't do that I wish it did was go into the process of the preparation it takes, and like how like is the movie edited, you know, before they start, so there's no wasted time, there's no wasted assets. Like how meticulous is it? And that's something I wish they did have, and that wish they don't.
Interesting.
Because it's like this movie's been worked on for 15 years, and I bet pre-production was as long as stop motion takes, I bet pre-production was like a lot.
This movie's been worked on. They did this for 15 years.
I think it's something like that. Like it's been at least like something he's wanted to do, and probably like a lot of pre-production conceptual stuff. I'm not sure, but that's what they said. 15 years.
Oh wow.
I doubt it's been like worked on for that time, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, I know that he's been like, it's something that he's wanted to do for years and years, but just because it's like it keeps coming up as like sort of like a project that he keeps trying to like bring back again and again, and I think that it finally found its life. I wonder if it finally found its life in the last couple years as a stop motion, or if it was always intended to be stop motion. You know what I mean? Do you know?
No, it doesn't. It doesn't address that. It's like really fascinating behind the scenes, but it left a lot of like questions I really wanted answered unanswered.
Well,
but what are you gonna do?
I don't know. I guess I'm just gonna have to watch this behind the scenes.
This podcast.
This podcast.
This podcast is Patrick asking John about a video that he can watch in an hour.
Can you hear Can you hear the washing machine just like singing its happy little song behind me?
Heard a little bit.
You heard a little bit of it? It went on for so long, and I was just like, please stop. I'm not going to get up right now. Please stop singing your happy little song. Get out of here. But so it's like, again, without talking about the making of documentary again, or continue to talk about it, I just want to say it's like the stop motion and like the imperfections of those things, and just like the fucking just specificity put into every shot. It's like one of the things that we've talked about with the difference between live action and then animated movies in general is the ability to be specific and just set up those paintings of images that you don't always get to control the way that looks outside of a computer. But it's like with animation now, that everything is that everything is there. And especially with fucking stop motion, that everything is essentially in the shot,
Yeah.
It's just it's like you're able to create a very complex and textured, and the weight of this movie, like both like the visual weight, like seeing how things feel, and like they have a real weight to them, which just everything adds to the finished product. It's so cool. I really liked this movie. I liked this movie a whole lot.
Well,
is there anything that you didn't like before we jump into any sort of specific stuff, my sweet friend John?
that I didn't like. Let me think. I don't think so. It's a solid movie. I in a movie like this, I don't like musical numbers, but I like that they kind of just happened.
Yeah.
And so this is more of a positive, I guess. But I like the usage of musical numbers in this, because like I at first was like, this isn't like a memorable song. It's a storytelling device, so it's just kind of like I don't like that kind of storytelling doesn't communicate well to me. Like I don't pick up on the things that it's saying well.
Yeah.
So like when that happens, I don't like that. But in this movie, it was a little bit different. It like really bleeds in seamlessly, and it really it did it for me. I don't know how to put it. And then I like that it was almost like commented on it with the cricket, Sebastian Cricket, whatever, with how he kept trying to sing a song about his dad, and he would always get interrupted.
Yeah.
Which is nice.
That's a good bit. That's a good bit.
Yeah, so that was a good bit. Things I don't like though.
Just to sort of like go off of that, I think it's like, I don't remember. It's been kind of a minute since I've like seen this all the way, since I like originally watched this. But it's like the music, it's interesting because it's like the music is more of a device than it is like, because the songs aren't good songs. They're like direct songs. It's interesting because they're not like, they're not good, but they're exactly what they need to be as far as like fulfilling what happens in the story. And they're almost like, yeah. And I think too, that's like kind of what we're saying, what Guillermo's saying with like not letting, like, it's a funny bit, but it's also like, those aren't what the songs are about. We're not here to talk about your dad and like get everybody's like fucking, we're not getting exposition or like all this shit through song because we're a musical. We're getting it because it's sort of like speeds things up and it like gives you a painting of the emotion of how this person is. I don't know.
Yeah.
Where it's not like a fucking musical. It's like there's songs in this, but it's not about it being a musical. Yeah. I don't know.
No, I think you nailed it. I don't think they were trying to like make supplemental money, with a catchy song or whatever, as a Disney does. Disney wants to make good music that's catchy, but for the sake of the movie. But I mean, obviously that they can sell it and make a lot of money.
They sure can.
Yeah. So like at first I was like, oh, that's lame and annoying, and then because the first song I was like, this isn't a good song, but then I kind of learned like, oh, okay, it's not relying on these songs necessarily to be good. They're just they're just there. Like it's almost like I mean, one scene is when he goes to join the show. It's kind of a montagey thing, which just works. You know, it's like a diegetic montage song, I guess, to go with that's diegetic stuff you're literally seeing. It's not even diegetic; is even just redundant. It's like what you're seeing. So it's like, I don't know. It's really efficient. It doubles up.
Well, it's also like, you know, fucking when Geppetto's singing that first song, you know, he's just singing a little lullaby to his son as he's going to bed, and we're just sort of like seeing the things that Geppetto is thinking about, you know, while he's singing the song to his son. Is how I sort of like take it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. Well, do you have any negatives besides music not being bangers?
I mean, yeah, they're not bangers. They don't have enough. They don't have enough low tone for me. We could have done with some like choral stuff. I think I don't have any negative memories of this movie. I don't have any negative memories of this movie. I really liked it. I think that, you know, it hit me good. It hit me good. I loved the sort of freshness of it. Because when is that like original story? When was that originally set?
I don't know. I admittedly am not super. I mean, I've seen the first Pinocchio, but it's been so long, and I don't think I've seen much other media of Pinocchio. So, you know, I'm familiar with it, but this was like not fresh. But I don't know. I didn't have anything to compare it to in terms of the other stuff. I was too young when I saw the Disney movie, and with that, I can't draw the comparison. But
Pinocchio is from 1883. Was the first sort of novel.
Okay.
So it's obviously before the First World War or whatever the Spanish War. I also love things I love about this movie. I love that it is both set in a very specific time, but also sort of out of time, and that Geppetto, like, and for a second, it almost bothered me that Geppetto didn't age clearly, you know, and like what the passage of time wasn't clear because it was almost like we were stuck, which then also sort of feels like part of the point. But I ended up liking that, whereas like, this is how this person looks. This is how this person is. We don't need to show the passage of time, which has a very sort of like theater element to it for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I love that. And then I love the sort of like the little things, and I've talked about this with good storytellers that I like in the past, but like the little things that sort of like don't berate you, but constantly give you references to the meaning that the filmmaker, the storyteller wants to tell you, that wants to give to you. That it's like, however you are is how you are. You're not. There's nothing about imperfection that is less beautiful than who you are and how you are.
Yeah. It's like it's I don't know. Pinocchio takes like a wide range of being annoying to then you getting used to them, then he's endearing, but it eventually comes to the point that's like you're just so pure and good. Like it doesn't that you make people better around you better. Like you kind of helped Geppetto out. He helped Sebastian. He helped the fascist son. I forgot his name. And the monkey, definitely the monkey.
Spazzatura.
Yeah. So it's just like. And it's so, they do say it explicitly, like, oh, you're so pure, but at the same time, you're able to find and see that on your own. I don't know. It's just, It's really nice, and I don't know if there's like a big life lesson of that, but it is feel good, you know, and in a weird contrast with like the sobering nature of like death and life and like the cycle of things. And I like how much this movie explores death in a way that other things don't. Like it takes it seriously and respect, but it doesn't make it melodramatic. Like I think the way it handles it so soberingly makes it more impactful and more honest and more relatable, and you know, just like seeing the cricket just was found dead one day.
Yeah.
You know, like that like hit, you know, it's like, geez. Just
You're
like it just ends, you know, and
that's
then
it.
like Geppetto one was whatever, it was sad. It was sad. But like it was, you know, you saw it coming. And then
I don't know why, but Spazzatura, the death of Spazzatura got me.
Yeah. I think it's just cuz it's like the last vestige of the world as you knew it or whatever, or like maybe relating to that, like one day, you know, I mean, you very well you could be one of the ones that gets knocked off and is the one missing for someone else, but the idea of like being left behind, you know.
Yeah.
But then like maybe it's the contrast of Pinocchio's optimism and love that like persists even if in the absence of them also can probably hit you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure. But
no.
It was a very like sequence. I was like, Jesus Christ, you guys are fucking throwing haymakers at me right now.
I remember you texted me about it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And it's like, it definitely just is like, it's sort of sobering in its lack of drama, almost. I love to just sort of like off of that and kind of like we were talking to, like I'm watching the first scene in the background. I've got the first scene where Pinocchio is being like a pure chaos gremlin, and I love first of all that like he doesn't like Guillermo or the animator, like they don't shy away from like the fucking raw drunkenness of Geppetto, and
that
like
too.
like that sort of like emotion of it, where he's just like he's a wood carver, drunk and sad out of his mind making this thing. So it's like that being Pinocchio's sort of like creation story, like because I think it's always been sort of like, oh, he just one day decided to create, he was like lonely and like he decided to create a little son because he had never had a little son, and so it's like, you know, it's always like, oh, okay, yeah. And then like the fact that and then I think again, I'm just remembering this, it's been a long time since I've watched the original story, is it's more like he's more like a little scamp, and like Geppetto is very much like prepared to be father again, but in this version where he was like a sad drunken man creating a wooden puppet just because he's just so sad. It's just so sad, and he's so drunk, and I love the little nails in his back. He's just like, the
left side of his face is finished, and the right side he kind of was like, fuck it.
Yeah, too. He's just like, I gotta get there. I gotta finish this off. And then he's just like, kind of done. And then like the like horrifying introduction of this being with consciousness now out of nothing, and then like being confronted with that as like a hungover sad man, you know, you're like, and then like this thing comes out of the like the ceiling, like doing some like grudge spider walking, and you're like, oh god. It's just funny to me. It's like it's not necessarily funny, it's just like very like, it feels so much more honest, and I think that's one of the things that grounds it, is like that it comes from a place of sort of like, just, it feels like weird reality, but it feels like this is how things would actually go. Like, yes, it's like a heightened reality, but this is how things would actually go. This is what would happen if all of these things, like if a wooden puppet was given consciousness just randomly, like it's not going to be perfect. You know?
Yeah. I mean, I think it feels like the most like in air quotes realistic version of the story without me seeing the numerous other versions.
Yeah.
I forgot there was a live action one.
Well, there's a live action one with Tom Hanks.
Is that out?
Yeah. I think it's an Apple TV thing. Let me look.
It got blasted.
Yeah, well, because it was probably bad. It wasn't as good as this one. I mean, not bad, but like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
Devoid of heart. Yeah.
Clean and Disney. Steven Spielberg.
Steven Spielberg directed it?
No. Steven Spielberg did AI and referred to it as an adaptation of Pinocchio. Let's see. Where we got? Tom Hanks has been putting out some not bangers.
Yeah, I don't know what he's doing.
Just not bangers is what he's been doing.
Did you see the Navy movie he was in, Greyhound or whatever?
I did not.
It's actually really good.
I mean, I'm also sure that this Pinocchio movie, it's directed by Robert Zemeckis.
Random.
But Tom Hanks is Geppetto. Joseph Gordon-Levitt is Jiminy Cricket. But it just looks like a live action version of the Disney movie. Like the Pinocchio looks exactly like.
Well, they're all remakes, which it's weird. Like it's a weird failed capture of millennials, because like kids undoubtedly think will always prefer animation, like the fantastical stuff, you know.
Yeah.
And I guess like this one has like enough of those kind of characters, but it's just such a weird thing that they're like that they still kept doing.
Yeah.
Like I feel like after 3 or 4 of the live action remakes, they should have like, oh, okay, well, maybe we should stop.
But because the animated stuff is always going to be better for kids, I feel like.
Yeah.
I mean, I could be wrong, but it's like, I don't want to see this.
In some ways, cheaper, I think, too, right?
I'm sure. Well, it's probably not cheaper.
Pinocchio looks shitty.
I'm looking at the trailer here, and it just looks like completely It just looks completely necessary, unneedable.
Isn't there another Pinocchio movie that was pretty disturbing?
It's very possible.
I remember like people were freaked out. Yeah, it's this one.
Send it to me. Yeah, this looks like the animated movie.
But that's just been the way it is though, with all the remakes that they've decided to do. Again, it's just like it was a fun novelty for a couple, but at this point it's just dumb.
But
I think we still have Little Mermaid on the horizon too. That's coming out later this year.
But there's also no I think that's one of the things that I love about this movie is like the thing that I love about this movie, I say again, is that it's like what is it? The island of lost boys or whatever. The island of boys who have fun too much is like a fascist camp. Oh, Jesus Christ. That looks awful. That looks terrifying. This came out in 2019. What is going on?
It was like it went viral because it was just disturbing.
Why is everyone so horny for Pinocchio all of a sudden?
Yeah, I mean, you have this, the other remake, and then Guillermo del Toro.
Poor Guillermo del Toro is like, I was trying to do this for 15 years, and you motherfuckers keep ruining this thing that I love.
I wonder if these were all gambles. Like, maybe his will come, or like projecting it might come out.
Oh, this is Roberto Benigni. This is also another thing. He did Life is Beautiful. He like won an Oscar for it. Have you ever seen that movie?
Yeah, it's about the
Holocaust.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah.
It's it'll make you cry.
Yeah. I think that's a good movie. I like that movie a lot. That movie changed me. I think that he also played Pinocchio. Like he did the physical of Pinocchio. Like that was like one of the selling points of it. I could be wrong too, because I know that it was also like after Life is Beautiful, that was also one of the things that he wanted. Look at this monkey judge. That's weird.
It's a weird movie, but the critics seem to like it, and then the audience score sucks. So who knows?
Well, I think it's again Roberto Benigni being an artist guy, trying to artist it up, and like this looks pretty Italian as far as like sort of over the top, and like,
but also plain.
Yeah.
Well, anything you have to add, positive or negative, or should we just get into reviews?
Let's just.
It's like a weird one. I don't know how much there's to say about this. Besides, go see it. It's amazing. Stop motion at its best. Storytelling at top tier.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, I mean, I think that there's just like the specifics of it where it's like him being imperfect, and I love the. What is the name of it? Island of Misfit Boys? What's the name of that island?
I don't know. I don't have the background on the
analysis, blah 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 films. Where's the fucking? Give me a synopsis. Cultural icon, ragamuffin, scapegrace. What is that? Scapegrace, mischievous or wayward person. A tempestuous. Blah, 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 blah. But anyway, I love that was like the fascist boys camp, and they're just like playing around and then being like, no, you got to kill him.
Those shots are incredible. For
what?
Those shots are incredible looking.
Yeah.
Like with the complexity and the moving parts in them. Very impressive. I'm looking at box office for things that are in. And you know Babylon?
Yeah. I've seen
That's
it.
only made $14 million total.
Yeah. I mean that movie and The Northman are very similar because they're like both like Robert Eggers was like, I want to make this Viking epic, you know? And then Damien Chazelle is like, I want to make this Hollywood epic. And Robert Eggers had gotten enough sort of like industry cachet that people were like, okay, yeah, we'll give you $80 million or $70 million to make this thing. Which, you know, if you look at The Northman, it's not that much money for what they did. Like, especially compared to the other stuff that's been put out and like put together. It's like $70 million or $80 million or whatever it is to put all that stuff together. Shit. They did a good job. They were pretty tight with that stuff, especially with how specific he likes to be with how things look.
Babylon had a $80 million budget up to 110, and it's only made that much money.
For
the
Babylon?
Where the whale only cost $3 million to make, and it's made $8 million. Like it's made $5 million. So that's still considered success. But it's crazy that I guess I don't know. I haven't really paid attention to box office numbers, but it is sad to see something like that.
Well, I mean, Babylon, it's you haven't seen it, right?
No, and that's not sad. It's more so, I guess it is in a sense. It's just like there's stuff that isn't superhero shit and sci-fi and fantasy, you know?
Yeah.
Just not getting the attention.
Well, I mean, again, this is like we're sort of in the death knell of that like mid-tier, like the high budget indie movie, like Northman and Babylon. Those are it. Every once in that's what I'm saying is like
Yeah.
The similarities between Babylon and Northman are very interesting because it's like this is something that Damien Chazelle has wanted to do, and he's like, oh, this would be so cool. And the same thing with Robert Eggers, but they're both. I mean, Northman is probably going to end up making more money because at least it's like hype and like kind of fun and an adventure and bloody and sort of gory and like kind of weird. Whereas
It's much easier to market.
It's easier to market, and it's also like fucking like Babylon is like it's another sort of like movie jerk off. And it's like I love movies. I love Hollywood. But it's like it's kind of inaccessible in some ways to like everyday people where it's like it just gives a shit about itself too much.
Did you see it?
I did see it. I like it. You know? Okay. And so it's like I like it a lot. I think it's good, but I'm also aware of what it is, you know? Like where it's like this is a Hollywood jerk off. The awards are probably going to love it, but also like you know, people it's so funny. I've seen people online be like, "Oh, wow, another story about the sort of like the era between silent movies and talking pictures. Oh, wow, another movie like that." And it's like, it's good. Like, it's a good era. And you know how many fucking movies we have about World War II? So many fucking movies. And that's like, because it's an era that's like, there's so many stories out of it. And it's like, why aren't we allowed to have more? And we have how many Batmans? I'm getting on a Babylon tangent, but I'm not getting off yet. We have how many Batman movies? And it's like, this is still good. And like, we also have new scenes and new perspectives in this, you know? It's like, there's a really cool scene in that movie about like the first time that they did a scene with sound. And like, as a person, you did sound on the set that we met. And it's just like, it's just funny to see. It's so fucking interesting to live in that scene, and to like, just to live in that scene, and it's so interesting to live there, and it's like, I don't know, I really like the movie, but I also, it's really disappointing to see that movie not get cut down to 2 hours and 30 minutes, because it's 3 hours and 10 minutes long, and even though it moves, it feels like it.
Yeah.
And so it makes it inaccessible for a wider audience.
Well, I'm definitely gonna watch it. I think Once Upon a Time in Hollywood I really liked because it just lived in that world for long enough. Even if it was a slow pace and stuff, it was just fun to live in that world and be like, oh, yeah, golden age of Hollywood. Let's enjoy it. And then it just goes batshit, and it's like that's fun too because it's like, oh, that's why it's not saying that directly, but it's like, oh, now Hollywood's shitty. I guess like the innocence is lost or something dumb like that.
Yeah.
But.
Well, Babylon, it moves, man. It doesn't. It is both. It is kind of a pretty good comparison to Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. But it's if you know anything, like the fact that Damien Chazelle did Whiplash and La La Land previously, and First Man too, but the fact that he's done those, like especially La La Land with its sort of like more theatrical big elements, it's it moves and it's big, you know. They used every bit of that $80 million, I'll tell you.
Pretty cool. I mean, the trailer just looks crazy and diverse and like everything it has going on. What'd you give this one? I think I gave it.
Pinocchio's?
Yes.
I think I gave it four sword fights with Spazzatura out of 5.
Me too. 4
and
out of 5.
I might give it 4.5.
Yeah, I'm gonna bump it up a half right now.
Just because it's like, it's just good. It's just good, It is funny that Kate Blanchett is the monkey.
Yeah.
Because
They explained that in that behind the scenes thing, but she just
Is
wanted to
it-
be a part of it. And he was like, the only thing left is the monkey. She's like, I'll do it. He was like, okay, well.
is it her or Tilda Swinton as the fairies?
Tilda Swinton is, I think, the fairies. Like, Kate Blanchett is fully just the monkey.
Okay, cool. Because I was like, I'm pretty sure that's Tilda Swinton being the fairies. But I could be wrong in that Kate Blanchett is being one of the fairies. I also, too, love the fairies. I love the sort of like... I love how they deal with his immortality. And that it's like, well, you have to choose. You have to break the rules, you know? And then I just love the way that they put together the fantasy of this world.
Yeah, I think the rule, like the life and death, and how they were kind of loose, and they weren't like life wasn't too ethereal and forgiving and whatever, and death wasn't also unforgiving.
Yeah.
I don't know, it was a good balance, and it really made it made it feel real, I guess. Like it didn't hurt the stakes, I guess. It didn't come at the expense of like the stakes being raised, or like, oh, they're softies, you know, or whatever. So, I don't know. It was good. You ready for some reviews?
Give me some reviews, baby.
Dominica, there are some beautiful moments regarding moral compass in love and life situations. In the same time, I felt stressed all the time. Too many horror scenes, drama scenes, and I would prefer to make it a little shorter. 0.5 star. So,
Half a star?
yeah, because it was too scary for them, I guess.
Wow. That was people really don't have an understanding of how the star system works. Huh.
Yeah.
Because you're reading that interview, I was like, okay, yeah, maybe 2.5, maybe 3 stars. But 0.5 star? Damn.
Yep.
Damn, Dominica.
Here's a 2 star from Chow or Kaio. I don't know how to say it. Brings nothing new and has a bad script.
Okay. What's that one?
What?
What's that name? What's that
CAIO.
No, not name. But what was the total that they gave?
Oh, 2 stars.
2 stars. See, that one, they understand the star system.
Oh, yeah. 0.5 star. I counted Pinocchio saying Papa 614 times.
Wow. Why'd you do that? That's too many times.
The joke's on you, man. Will W. Also, this has like a 94 on Rotten Tomatoes. I'm just picking out the bad ones.
Yeah. I gotcha.
Will W. said, disappointed with all the hype. I was expecting it to be a bit more awesome. The main character, Pinocchio, was really annoying to the point where I had to take a break from watching it. Didn't find any of the other characters convincing, and the storyline wasn't compelling. Didn't really think adding the fascism theme did anything to either. Mussolini, really? Threatening to kill the main characters? Who is that doing anything for? Overall, more mature themes, not just the fascism, were jarring, and mostly didn't add anything to the film.
Okay.
It felt like it was segmented, where each scene was either for an adult audience or a child audience. Feel like this transition in both films should be imperceptible. This person, it sounds like a review of someone who's smart, but it's a really bad, dumb review, I guess.
Yeah.
Like they don't sound like an idiot, but I think they are an idiot.
Yeah. They definitely would explain crypto to you.
Yeah, I did actually get that kind of vibe.
You know?
It's funny you said that. Okay, another negative one.
They'd explain crypto to you, or like be like, well, no, this is like polyamory. This is how it works.
Well, yeah, and they explain crypto to you, and you realize they don't actually know what it is. They just know how to try and make money off of it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find one more banger to end on.
I think one of the things that's good about this story, about this movie, is that they're given opportunities to succeed. You know, like Geppetto doesn't lose him. He goes to the carnival and he finds him, you know, and then fails not because fails not because like things because he's an idiot or things don't line up, but he fails because the forces conspiring, you know, because of misunderstanding and like in not a like sort of like a sitcom-y way as sometimes happens, you know, where it's like, oh, he just missed him, and then it's like we're like soak it up for drama. But it's I don't know. It's the learning how the world works and the mistakes that you make as the world continues and you don't understand it.
Yeah.
I like this movie.
Yeah, I think
I just start crying here.
I think it's a weird one to understand. Like I just don't. I think it's a baseline very good movie, and it's a very biased statement by me. But I don't know. Like this is the last review, 2 stars by Paula M.
Paula.
Remarkable animation, not a children's story. Terrible mixed messages. Characters have no arc. Their actions are highly predictable. Poorly written script.
Oh, okay. Well, Paula.
So, this is the only review they made too, so they felt compelled to make this their only review.
Damn, Paula. Damn,
I mean,
Paula.
I think it not being a children's story isn't a knock. The mixed messages, I think it's pretty clear. For trying to deconstruct this interview, like terrible mixed messages.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it just respects death and the passage of time. I think it's about sacrifice. It's about, you know, second chances. It's about,
well, and it's also about accepting who you are as you are, like, which is one of the things to me that we haven't really talked about the ending, about how, like, and that's one of the things too with all of like the theming that it had throughout. I was curious how they were going to be like, how they were going to turn him into a real boy without it feeling like they undo the messages of like who he is, because like kind of throughout it, it's like, you know, oh, your imperfections is what make you, your imperfections, blah blah blah, and it's like then him not being turned into a real boy at the end, sort of just is like, you're good how you are. You're good how you are. It's okay.
but the characters have no arc. That monkey was an evil asshole the whole time.
Get him. Freaking get Paula. Get her. Come on.
Yeah. Anyways, I mean, I feel like that was a pretty succinct, good, bad review. But
yeah.
I don't know.
So, what you been watching, John?
I just watched Avatar, and I liked it. It is what it is. I watched This Place Rules, enjoyed it. I saw The Mask of Zorro. Just a fun classic. I saw The Woman King, and that is probably one of the more overhyped movies I've seen in a while. It was just fine, but it wasn't as good as I was led to believe by just like seeing things online, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's the most overhyped movie I've seen in a long time.
Okay.
But that's what I've watched.
Okay.
What about you?
I watched. Let me pull out my letterbox as I try and do that again. I'll see if I remember to do it. I looked at my letterbox. This year, like last year, and it was in May. It was right as we were like sort of like I stopped it right as we were getting ready for what's it called? Like Sea of Thieves and all that stuff. Sea of Thieves and Witcher.
Yeah.
I stopped it then because there was a lot going on.
Mm-hmm.
But I have seen Babylon, which I talked about. I really liked that, but again, I just did a whole big tangent on that. Then I watched a movie, Emily the Criminal, that I was like I surprised. I liked this. Here's what I said on Letterboxd. Wait, did I do this already?
No, you didn't talk about this. We talked about the movie, but I don't think you had seen it.
Um, well, I liked it better than I thought that I would. I thought it was going to be. It just seemed like a straight to VOD trash movie, but it ended up being pretty good.
I got the vibe. It was like just a film festival jerk off movie.
Yeah. I mean, it is that, but it's also.
Which isn't to say it's bad. Just that's the vibe I got.
See, I thought that it had like VOD. Like, I was just confused as to like Aubrey Plaza entering her like Liam Neeson, Sylvester Stallone, Bruce Willis like VOD action movie era. I was like, huh, interesting. You know, it's a revenge thriller about this XXY or whatever, etc. etc. What did I say? XXY. Why did I say XXY?
I don't know.
And then I watched Banshees of Inisherin, which I really liked. But that's a slow movie. That is by this like writer that I really like, Martin McDonagh, and so I really liked it. But I also understand that it
is it for anyone?
It's a play. You know, it's a play, but it's because they filmed it. It's gorgeous. It's so gorgeous. It's set in Ireland. And it's like it's set on an island off the coast of Ireland during one of their many civil wars, and it's about two friends who just sort of fall out of friendship, and there's not really much of an explanation as to why, which again sort of like mirrors the Civil War, where it's just like, well, I hate you now. It's like, well, fucking why? Well, I just do.
Yeah,
it's really good. And then I also watched The Menu, which is, I think, just freshly on HBO Max. And I really like that movie as well. But I've got some things that I need to examine about myself as to whose side I was on during that movie.
Ralph's side? Ralph Fiennes' side?
Yeah. Which is, you know, for not all of it, there's some places where it's like, okay, yeah, he needs to, but it's a good movie. I think that you would like that movie, John. I do. I think I think it moves fast enough and is interesting enough for that you would like it.
Yeah, I want to watch it.
And then I also watched This Place Rules. Thought that
nice.
was very
Yeah, I watched that too. I think I mentioned that, but it was it was good. It was wild, that's for sure.
It was, but it's like
the opening is just batshit.
Yeah. Well, and again, I thought that was it's interesting. The editing in that movie is not as punchy as his YouTube videos, but I think it's like his same team, like figuring out how to make a feature film. And it's interesting because it's like we're also sort of in that process of trying to make a feature documentary. And yeah, it's just it's a fascinating thing. And then also too the like like it's disappointing how unsurprised I was by a lot of those people. And then even he got me at the end with shock with the final guy. If you know what I'm talking about. Dave
got him with
the guy who.
Oh yeah.
I was
the
like
guy that represented North Carolina.
Yeah, the guy that never represented North Carolina. I think good stuff.
Yeah, that was a good gotcha.
But I was like, oh shit.
Well, yeah, like that was like a really good. Like I forgot how he put it, but it was I forgot, but it was like eloquently just put all those people in such good context, I guess. Like they're projecting like their shittiness.
Yeah, have you ever heard of projection?
Yeah. It was good.
It was good. It was a good doc.
Yep.
It was nice and tight too. 80 minutes or something like that.
Yeah, I think that's personally a good documentary length.
Yeah, 80 to 90 minutes. I think it's a good movie length.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, do you have any sort of like closing thoughts as we
I
end
don't
the
think
first
so.
New Year?
I mean, there's a lot. In terms of this, I think there's a lot of positives we could have talked about, but I really didn't feel compelled to do it because I didn't feel compelled to try and convince someone to watch this. I think you should go watch it, if that makes sense.
Mm. Give him a list. Give him a list real fast.
Of what? Why they should?
Yeah. Not why, but like of the good things.
I mean, technical marvel, emotional story, a mature but whimsical kind of story. Yeah, I think that's mine.
Yeah, I think it's a new grounded take on an old favorite, and it kind of like repositions it as something that you should pay attention to, rather than doing what Disney does and rehashing something that is just there because they just wanted to continue to make money on the same property because they don't want to come up with new ideas.
Yep.
Gotcha. Burned you. Disney, go make your $1 billion somewhere else. Not gonna do it from me because I don't have that much money to give you.
Got him. Got him by roasting yourself for not being able to get them. It's a nice roast.
I guess that's it. Well, as they say, thank you guys so much. We've still got a couple shirts. Rate, review. Send us letters. To insert Patrick's personal address. And just tell us what's up. Tell us what you like. Tell us what you didn't like. Blow kisses. Don't blow kisses. And
whatever you want. Whatever your heart desire.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, and it should be a good year of movies. And last year wasn't too bad. I went over my 2022 like movies that came out in 2022, and there's some good stuff in there.
Yeah,
and we covered most of it. So, anyways, here's to a whole new year of good stuff, and thank you for being here for the ride.
Hey, I love you. As they say in Italy, j'adore, ma chère.